And that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where it is still not Christmas yet. However, I've made a point about not talking a whole lot about the holiday special computers, guys, because I haven't had to talk a whole lot about the holiday special computers. We are officially down to about 20 units. The numbers on the website will be updated on Monday to reflect the current counts. Because it's kind of difficult because we sell them on the website, and then we also sell them in 3 different physical locations, and we have to keep those numbers unified. So basically, there's a little bit of a lag there. So over the weekend, we see a pretty good amount of lag. Then on Monday, it all gets caught up. So we'll have about 20 units remaining on Monday. So if you were thinking about purchasing a 2017 holiday special, now is the time to do it, actually. There's not a whole lot of time left. If you're a business, now is the time to make that purchase, even though you won't get delivery before the end of the year. If you make the purchase now for a website or a computer, you can book that expense on 2017 taxes. So if your accountant's telling you, hey, you're going to be in you need to have some expenses or whatever, and there's some things you've been meaning to do anyway, invest in some IT, invest in some web stuff. You can pre-purchase that and book it on your 2017 year, and then enjoy the benefits of it in your 2018 year. 866-496-8772. Cecilia is next up on the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
I have been having trouble with Secure Updater, and Kevin and Adam have been working on it on Schrock Disk because I'm 55 miles away, and they have been so awesome, but it's something they can't solve. And last Thursday, I emailed you asking permission to be out of that 30-day warranty because I bought that $49.95 package from you. And as it ended up, I'm one of those that had a lot of trouble because they had to wipe my machine, reinstall everything, etc. So can I have your okie dokie? We're coming into Omaha Wednesday, and to bring it in then and still be outside that warranty time.
Okay, I'm piecing it together here. So you said something about we don't have any 45-day warranties, so I'm...
No, 30.
All right, so we have a 30-day warranty on work that's done on a computer, and then you bought the...
That was the work. They had to wipe my machine for the update.
Gotcha, okay.
And on Schrock Desk, Adam determined the problem is with Microsoft.
Gotcha.
With the security updater, and I know you've been rewriting it. First of all, did I have the right email? Thor@SchrockInnovations.com.
You did. I'm just behind in responding to things because I've been muling. I've been moving. Sure. I've been moving heavy stuff instead of doing my normal work. Right. So it's been I'm very sore. I lifted some benches yesterday that I shouldn't have been lifting, and it was just like, when you own the place, everyone's like, wow. Like when I answer the phone, people are like, wow, you actually answered the phone. I didn't expect to get you, and I'm like, well, I work here. If the phone rings and I'm standing next to it, and yep, if there's benches that need to be moved and cut and reshaped into a new space, then that's where I am. Well, if there's bathroom, I'm the guy that remembers to bring the toilet paper to the new bathroom, and people are very thankful for me.
Yes, they should. They should.
No, but here, before you run that whole thing in, I wonder the thought that occurs to me is, of course, we'll take care of you under warranty. Don't even worry about it. That will be taken care of. So yes, okie dokie. Okie dokies are given. But before we do that, I mentioned earlier in the program that we have been working on a new Secure Updater client because the old one, the old client was designed for Windows XP. And then it was, then it worked on when we got it to work on Vista, and then 7, then 8, then 10, and it was time for a new client. So we actually have a prototype Secure Updater client for the new version. Now, it's not something... We have the holiday special going on right now. We're moving service centers. Now is not the time for me to release a big, massive, like, hey, everybody get the prototype. Let's go and check it out. Now's not the time for that. In fact, Adam sent me the prototype to review because they've been running it on their computers in the shop for the last few weeks. And he's like, okay, so Thor, you need to review all the markety stuff. Like, am I using the right fonts? Do I sound sufficiently pleasant in my speech? Like, yo, if it doesn't work, you need to restart your stuff, lady. No, you can't say stuff like that, Adam. If you're having difficulties using the software, please try restarting your computer. If that's not successful, feel free to contact us at support at any time for assistance. Thank you. There you go. That's what I do, So basically, we have this prototype client that does everything Secure Updater is supposed to, and that's the problem you're having is Secure Updater, right?
Correct.
Okay. So if the only thing that's wrong is Secure Updater, and yes, it could be that there's a complication between our Secure Updater client and your version of Microsoft, but everybody else is working. So I'm going to guess that there might have been a little pride in admitting that maybe it's the Secure Updater client that has the problem and not your computer. So what I'm going to suggest that we do, and I'll send Adam an email here as the show winds up just to let him know, I would like him to send you a copy of that prototype client so that you can install it on your computer and use it. Now, maybe there's some reason he can't do that, but the other thing that we talked about doing as well is it's never a good idea to roll out a prototype like this, or a beta, if you will, to everybody and say, okay, go, because then if something goes wrong, you have to roll everybody back. On the other hand, though, for people who like to do that kind of work, who like to give their feedback and actually have input in the design of a product, we're thinking about putting together a place where you can actually get the prototype client if you want to get it before it's pushed out to everybody, and then we can let you run it for a month or so, and that'll all happen in January, guys. But for you, Cecilia, right now, I think that might be the right move to get your problem solved moving forward. It would be a great, first of all, a great proof of concept. Right now, there's a joke running around the shop, basically, that has to do with Secure Updater. And because as we built the new client, which required us to change the back-end system. When you change the back-end system, the current client doesn't get changed, and then all of a sudden we have to create a back-end system that works with two clients, and it's a little tricky. So once in a while, they dotted a T and crossed an I, and then things stopped working for people, and then an hour later it started up again. And so there's the magic elves back there are doing something again. What's going on? So as soon as if anybody calls with any kind of a Secure Updater issue, the first thing they do is put them on hold. And Adam, are you messing with Secure Updater right now? And he calls down from his room. No, Mom, I'm not doing anything with it. I'm going to get in so much trouble for this tomorrow. And then we yell out, are you sure? Because something's not working. I think it's you. Are you sure it's me? Do you need me to come down and look at it? No, we're fine as long as it wasn't you. Okay. So it goes like that, like every call we get from somebody. And it got to one point where Lincoln was actually just transferring all the Secure Updater support calls to Omaha as to make a point. Like, fix this. Because we're getting killed.
Apparently they're able to fix everybody's but mine.
Exactly, which has got to be for Adam, that's got to be incredibly frustrating. So what I'm going to do is, Cecilia, I will send, I think I still have your email, but you did send one I did get the email. I remember reading 14th.
It. December 14th.
Yep, yeah. I remember reading it. I also know I haven't responded to it yet. So
sure.
But yes, I will have Adam send you a copy. As long as there's not a technical reason we can't do it, I will have him send you a copy of the prototype client to see if that resolves the problem. If it doesn't, we still might have to have you come in for some work. Don't sweat it. We will make sure you're taken care of under warranty, because
I appreciate it.
Here's the thing: you paid for Secure Updater, right?
Yes.
So we could say, okay, we're extending your 30-day work warranty on all this other, but you're paying for a product that you can't use because it won't run, and it's our obligation to get that program running on your computer. So
I appreciate that.
It's a warranty either way.
They have been awesome, Kevin and Adam. Well, I didn't talk directly to Adam; he's too busy. But I saw him moving on my screen.
Yeah, he was up in his room. Are you sure she's connected? Yeah, I got her on the Schrock desk. Okay, Kevin. Yeah, that something like that.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cecilia. Have a great afternoon. All right, 866-49, thank you. 866-496-8772. Got to take our bottom of the hour break. I'm late because I was yelling up and down the stairs. More of Compute This coming up next.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This pro tip 423. Everyone knows you need an antivirus and firewall program for your computer, but which one is the best? Should you use the free ones, pay for a commercial product, or maybe even the free stuff your internet service provider gives you? The absolute worst thing you can do is to install nothing. Windows 10 comes with Windows Defender, but Microsoft never intended it to be your primary antivirus product. Free antivirus like AVG or Avast are more effective than Windows Defender, but Consumer Reports ranks the free antivirus products in the middle of the pack when compared to their commercial competitors. As for the free software from your internet provider, forget about it. It's designed to protect their network, not your computer. There are two products that trade the crown for best antivirus software year after year. Schrock recommends Symantec products like Endpoint, but the Russian-made Kaspersky antivirus program also does an outstanding job. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. Accusations of the Robert Mueller team conducting the Russia collusion probe unlawfully obtained tens of thousands of emails from the General Services Administration, or GSA, instead of from the Trump transition team.
A Trump for America lawyer tells Fox that, quote, in short, since the GSA improperly provided them to the special counsel's office, the presidential transition team's privileged materials have not only been reviewed privately by the special counsel's office without notification to Trump for America, they have also been misused publicly.
Fox's Peter Doocy, the Mueller team says they did nothing wrong. Make America shop again. Consumer spending's up this holiday season.
MasterCard Spending Pulse is out with its U.S. retail holiday shopping mid-season update, showing strong growth of 3.6% compared to last year, and projecting the strongest holiday season growth since 2010.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, Fox News. We report, you decide.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Today we do have a wintry mix mainly south of I-80, but that should gradually clear out of the area by noon. Otherwise, today mostly cloudy with a high temperature of 41 degrees. Clouds will gradually decrease in the overnight hours. Temperatures fall off into the upper 20s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 54 degrees. With Omaha's most accurate weather team, I'm 6 News meteorologist Peter Sherwood on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
All right, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. Must issue a correction to the record. Apparently, I attributed the net neutrality comments to the now retired Harry Reid, but I actually meant Chuck Schumer. See, I'm not supposed to talk about politics anymore. No one told me that, but you can't talk about politics anymore, because if you don't say something that makes Trump sound like a villain, you really upset half your audience. And if you don't say something that makes Trump sound like a superhero, you upset the other half of the audience. Nobody can be like human anymore and have some good and some bad, or some good or some evil or whatever. You know, it's everybody's got to be like one or the other. And, you know, because, okay, I wanted to do a parody right after the election, because there was you can go on a website called Fiverr. It's FIVVR.com or FIVRR.com, something like that. Fiverr.com. The whole thing is everything there is $5. So there are people who do Trump voice impersonations, and it's like 16 words for $5. And I thought, wouldn't that be awesome if we could have at the Not Real Donald Trump on our radio program doing a live interview right here on the show? And, we could ask him, like, who do you prefer? Like, Mr. President, who do you prefer for your antivirus software? Do you prefer the American-made Semantic Endpoint, or do you approve of the Russian-made Kaspersky software? This could tell us a lot. And then he could tell us how fabulous that is, and made in America, and we can't use that stuff from Russia, or China, and you could just have so much fun with that. It would just be funny, but I can't do it because I would upset half the audience, and the other half of the audience would be thrilled with it. And then, if there was any part of the bit would leave everybody upset in some way, because we're not going to make the president of the United States sound like a moron on my radio show, and I'm not going to make him sound like the Messiah returned either. So at the end of the bit, we would have upset everybody, so we just couldn't do it. But to this day, I'm like, gosh, maybe it was just too soon then. Maybe in like year 4, when he's running for re-election and everyone's like, he could go either way, or whatever. I don't know. But, so yes, I'm not supposed to talk about politics anymore. 866-496-8772. Alice on Facebook asks, are there open bench spots at Village Point? I need to bring my laptop in by December 24th before my preventative maintenance checkup expires. How is the turnaround time? Thanks. All right. There are open bench spots in the Omaha Service Center. There are also open bench spots in the Lincoln Service Center. Technically, there's open bench spots in the Papillion Service Center right now, too. Very few of them. We have like 5-6 bench spots. But we had 5 or 6 computers in there at the time too. It was hilarious. During the commercial break, people on Facebook can see me gesturing and talking. But they hear the station feed. It was hilarious because last week I pointed out to everybody, I keep talking about how we're moving Papillion, but we're still open. You can still come in because our Papillion business had dropped off dramatically over the last few weeks. And I'm sitting here wondering what is going on. Omaha's going gangbusters. They're busier than ever. And then it occurred to me, oh my gosh, I'm looking at the numbers and I have Papillion customers who are driving all the way to Village Point to get their computers worked on because they think Papillion's moving. Well, it is moving, but it's open right now. I forgot to say that last little part. And so then, last week I said that, right? And so then this week in Papillion, they just got nailed. It was great. I mean, so they're like, wow, we're so much busier than last week. This is awesome. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, it's kind of ironic. Dylan's like, it's kind of ironic, now that you're moving the benches out and taking all of our equipment away, we're busier than ever. And I stopped for a second and I thought, oh, darn. I did do that, didn't I? Yeah, logistics isn't always my thing, guys. I'm not a good logistics. I'm having a little trouble with that. But all the same, everything, we do have open bench spots. I'll be able to get you in there and get your preventative maintenance checkup done for you. If it expires, it's expiring, you said, on December 24th, I think. Okay, so December 24th is, correct me if I'm wrong, that's Christmas Eve, correct? Yeah, so Christmas Eve, we are open we close at 4 o'clock. Or Christmas Eve, yes, we close at 4 o'clock. Christmas Day, we are closed. New Year's Eve, we close at 4 o'clock. And New Year's Day, we are closed. So just some heads up there if you're planning on coming in to pick up those holiday specials, for example, or to pick up a computer you had repaired so you have it for the weird holiday week there. We are going to be closing early on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Also, if your computer happens to be in the Papillion Service Center at the conclusion of the year 2017, it is very likely you'll be picking it up in the new Service Center. So if you have stuff in Papillion, there's a few people who have a couple things that have been in Papillion forever. Oh my gosh, like, we're supposed to recycle things after 30 days, people. We really give you 90 because we don't want to throw somebody's stuff away who wants it. And after 90 days, then we put it in a holding bin that holds it for 30 days. Because the second you wipe that guy's hard drive, the second you hit wipe, the phone will ring and it'll be like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know I'm coming in to pay that bill on that and pick up my computer. I just wanted to make sure it was still ready. We just wiped it. Oh, you didn't tell me. And it happens every time. So we put it in a bin. We tell the customer we're going to wipe it. Then we put it in a bin. We hold it for another 30 days. Then we're like, okay, we've done our due diligence. We've had the thing for almost half a year now. It's time to go bye-bye. And then it gets wiped and it goes in the recycle pile and it goes off to the happy computer hunting ground. So you don't want your stuff going to the happy computer hunting ground. So if you have stuff that you've been called to pick up in Papillion, and there aren't many of you, there's just like 3. That's why I'm going to talk about it on the radio, because that makes total sense. I'm having trouble directly addressing the 3 people, obviously, so maybe if they hear it on the air, then you can come on in and pick your stuff up. 866-496-8772. One of the things I mentioned earlier in the program for businesses and nonprofits and other organizations who work on a fiscal year budget that is a calendar year, if December is the end of your calendar year and you need some expenses, purchasing computers like the holiday special is a great investment because you can actually, we try to hold companies back from buying them early because, we could have one company come in and buy a third of our entire inventory. And that's great for us. I mean, we're selling them at cost, though, and we're trying to get them into customers' hands. So now that we're down to, the end of the sale here, we've sold out every year, and one of the reasons why is at the end of the sale, we give the go-ahead to companies to come on in and make purchases. And then when they do, they purchase multiple items. So if you are thinking about purchasing the 2017 Holiday Special desktop or laptop, the time to do that is like today. We're open Saturday from 10 to 8, Sunday from noon to 5, every other day of the week from 10 to 8 as well. But don't put it off too much longer. It's too late to get them by Christmas now. If you order today, you will not get them before the end of the year. But the order will be placed, and if you're a business or something, that books it on this calendar year for you. All right, 866-496-8772. Phone lines are open for your calls. All right, so did you hear about Netflix? This is kind of creepy and kind of funny. So apparently there's this really bad Christmas movie out there that, let me see. Let's see. What is it? The Christmas Prince. I've never seen The Christmas Prince. I cannot personally attest to the quality of the movie, The Christmas Prince. But apparently it's so bad it's comical. And so Netflix sent out some kind of a tweet on Twitter that said, to the 53 people who've watched A Christmas Prince every day for the past 18 days, who hurt you? So they're obviously trying to be funny. There's a little tongue-in-cheek going on here. They're trying to be funny. They're saying, hey, you 53 freaks out there, who hurt you because you're watching this terrible movie every day for the last 18 days? And you could, so Netflix, for example, okay, I was watching, Netflix has a series, The Punisher, that just came out. It's a Marvel cartoon or comic book character, and they're making a Netflix series about it. And it's not too bad. I would recommend it if you have Netflix and you're looking for a binge, especially in that week of Christmas where there's nothing good on except for the Christmas movies you've already seen this year. You could binge The Punisher, and it's not bad. It's not for kids. Way not for kids, okay? They happen to know that every day for the past week, at some point during the day, I've watched The Punisher. Okay, Netflix knows that. But to turn around, there's a difference between Netflix's automated computer systems tracking what I watch to give me automated recommendations of what other shows I might like. When somebody tweets this, that means there's a human watching what you watch. That means there's a human making decisions about what happens potentially with your accounts. By looking at the data, they know that there are 53 individual people that have watched A Christmas Prince every day. Now, I don't know if they know who those people are, but then there's somebody in charge of the Twitter account, right? So a human tweeted this. This wasn't their computer system sending an automated tweet. This was like a human. So it kind of creeped people out a little bit that Netflix is literally watching you watch. Now, in reality, everybody is. Amazon Prime does it. Hulu does it. YouTube knows exactly what you watched and how long. If you're a business owner, I don't know if you knew that you could do this, but if you when we put up our Omaha Morning Blend YouTube videos, it gives me anonymized, of course, data about viewership. It tells me how many people watch the video. That's the first metric. Then it shows me a graph of how many people tuned in or tuned out at a particular point in the video. Most people start the video at the beginning, and then the graph tails off over time. And that tail is people dropping out. So basically, if all of a sudden I'm watching the statistics on this video, and I have my viewership fall off a cliff, like, for example, we'll go back and put the Facebook video up on YouTube. And when I'm talking about Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer and Donald Trump and everything else, if we see that people tune out of the video at that point, that is a clear indicator to me I should not talk about that stuff anymore. Regardless of how funny it might be to me or to some of my listeners, it obviously was not funny to a lot of people and they tuned out. I get that data on YouTube videos because I have an account that monitors the analytics of my YouTube. Now, here's the thing. Google knows who you are. Now they'll say it's anonymized and nobody at Google knows. Oh, give me a break. If the CEO of Alphabet walked in and says, I want to know the 13th person that watched my YouTube video, I will guarantee you there is a way to go back into that database and unanonymize it. Now, you have to have CEO permissions to do it, but you can do it. So there's the thing. They're watching you. No matter what you're consuming. Cox is watching you when you use the internet. Windstream is watching you. Charter's watching you. They know every website you've been to. Every single website. They know how long you stayed on the page. They know what links you clicked on each page to go to each additional website. They know if you've uploaded things. They know, oh yeah, torrent users, they know not only what you've torrented, but they know how much you torrented, who you shared it with through torrent, literally. If you don't know what a torrent is, don't worry about it. They know what you've done. And of course, it's all stored and anonymized and automated rules are set up until the humans go look. So keep that in mind. I mean, this is the world we're carving. This is a super exciting time to be alive, guys, because there's a turning happening. It's like a new industrial revolution. It's going to be 2020 soon, and I still don't have a flying car. But by 2020, my car will probably drive itself. By 2020, we may actually be asking, why do I own a car? Because I can get my phone out and call an auto. You know that Ford is hiring artificial intelligence experts? Because they see the writing on the wall. Car ownership, only about 40% of the U.S. population in 30 years, only 40% of the U.S. population will actually own a car. Which sounds crazy. Why? Because you don't have to spend the insurance money anymore. You don't have to have the upkeep, because you'll be able to get your phone out and call an automated Ford of your choice to drive to your home and pick you up whenever you want it. It'll be like a taxi service. It'll be cheaper than owning the car. So Ford will still make cars, and Ford will still make money. The insurance industry will still insure those cars. But it just changes everything. The whole world is changing. And it's an exciting time to be alive to experience that change. And yes, it's scary. And yes, it's creepy. Like Netflix here, that's pretty creepy. Wow. My son watches videos on Amazon Prime, and I don't know what it is about 11-year-old boys. If there's a funny part, he'll rewind the video and watch the funny part 37 and a half times. So now imagine I'm watching The Punisher, and there's a particularly, let's just say, punishing scene in The Punisher, and I just rewind it 37 times. Wow, that Thor guy's kind of a psychopath. Look at him. Watch this guy, get punished over and over and over again. I'm trying to keep it family friendly here, guys. That it's kind of creepy, come on. So bottom line, guys, they're watching you, and it was a creepy reminder, a definite marketing faux pas on Netflix's part to tweet something like that. 866-496-8772. Got to take our final break of the show. Steve, John, Jim, your calls are coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals.
Welcome to Schrock Innovations. How can I help you today?
I'm having a problem with my computer.
You're at the right place. We fix problems with computers.
That's why I'm here.
What seems to be the problem with your computer?
When I press the power button, it doesn't boot up. How fast can you fix it?
We're the fastest computer fixer in Omaha. We'll fix it fast.
How fast?
Real fast. Do you have it plugged in when you turn it on?
Of course it was plugged in. Do people make that mistake a lot?
You'd be surprised. When you press the power button, what happens?
It roars, then stops and sits.
Ooh, like a lion?
Like a what? Well, I suppose.
Sounds like a bad power supply, sir.
Is that bad?
It's not good, but we can fix it fast.
How fast?
How's that for fast?
Does it work?
Yes, sir. More purring, less roaring now.
Wow, that was fast.
Schrock Innovations is the fastest computer repair in Omaha, sir.
That's great, but all this talking is making me hungry. You guys sell sandwiches?
We do fast computer repair. If you want a fast sandwich, you have to go someplace else. Why would we sell sandwiches?
I don't know. All this fast talking is strangely familiar.
Schrock Innovations. If you want a fast sandwich, don't go there. But if you want your computer fixed and back on your desk fast, give them a call or visit their website at SchrockInnovations.com. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, But you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
All right, maybe I should have worn my Punisher t-shirt today. That's apparently very popular on Facebook right now. Thor watches punishing scenes on the Punisher. I didn't say I did that. I said, what if I did that? Come on, people. I'm not... Well, they do say most CEOs are psychopaths. 866-496-8772. I gave up Twitter, a long time ago. Everyone was excited about Twitter, and I jumped in on it, and I was tweeting stupid stuff like what I had for breakfast. And then one day I just kind of woke up and realized nobody really cares what I had for breakfast. Maybe, and then no doubt I'll say that, and people jump on Facebook like, what'd you have for breakfast this morning? I'm like, Buc-ee's gas station coffee. It's actually pretty good. They grind the beans right on site, and they have baristas at the gas station. I've never seen the barista, but apparently there's a traveling barista that fills the beans because you can't have a non-barista fill in the beans. All right, so Steve, welcome to the program. Let's jump in and knock these calls out. How can I help you today on Compute This?
I've been getting, have been for the past year or so, tons of ads in my email, so I unsubscribed to them. Now, suddenly, I'm getting 20, 30, 40, 50 of these I didn't subscribe you links or deals from everybody, and now the subject line has even changed, and I'm still getting them.
Yep, because you clicked the "Hello, I'm a human, and I read your email" link. That, otherwise known as an unsubscribe link. So basically, there's two kinds of people who send email on the internet. Now, at Schrock Innovations, when we send email, especially promotional email, there's an unsubscribe link at the bottom of the email. And if you don't want to hear from us through email, some people, it's not that they don't like us, they just don't want to hear, they don't want email, it's cluttering up their inbox. And so they will click the unsubscribe link. And I get an alert every time someone does that, and it makes me cry like it's a personal slight, I'm not a psychopath. No, but basically what happens then is the bad guys send email. So when you get marked off our list, we don't send you email anymore. We also don't send you robocalls because we figured if you don't want the emails, you probably don't want the calls. So we take you off the list. But other people, the bad guys on the internet who send email, will include an unsubscribe link, which when people click that, adds you to the super duper verified human saw this email list. And then it's a very incestuous thing. They all trade their lists and sell their lists to each other. And so then once you're on the super duper confirmed list, that actually gets a higher price. And so then people will actually pay more money to send you spam. And you get a lot more spam because they have to get a return on their investment. The way that I manage spam on my, it's troublesome because if I turn my spam filters up, I miss customer emails. Same thing if my customers turn their spam filters up, they miss my emails. But what I did is I use Outlook, and in Outlook, the actual program Outlook, the one you have to buy, I use Outlook and I use the rules feature, and I set rules up. So I don't fill any prescriptions online. So any email I get that has the word pharmacy in the subject line, or Viagra in the subject line, or Viagra where they use the two different backslashes to make the V with a space in the middle so that way it doesn't trip the spam filter. As I see spam, I create a rule saying, I know I'm never going to get a legitimate email with that word in it, so I can make sure any email that ever comes through in the future with that word, just move it directly to my trash. And I get about 1,200 items added to my trash every day. And some of it still gets through. I mean, you're never going to get rid of all of it. Some of it still gets through, but I've managed to make it a manageable problem now, as opposed to what it was before, which was completely, I couldn't sort out real emails from my customers' emails because I had so many. So unfortunately, unsubscribing isn't going. If you bought a Christmas gift from Toys R Us and they send you an email and you unsubscribe, Toys R Us is going to honor your request to unsubscribe. If you got an email from I don't know, we reserved a domain for a customer who's getting a website, and all of a sudden, I'm getting all kinds of emails from India, we noticed you reserved a new domain. And I'm like, oh my goodness, let me tell you about our outsourced IT team. And I don't respond to them because if you respond to them, you just get added to the list.
Okay. So basically, they have to create something in my spam deal or just send everything to spam? am.
Exactly. You got to manage it on your end, unfortunately. Because any other filter you turn up on the end of the internet service provider is going to cause you to miss important emails. All right. Thank you for the call, Steve. I appreciate it. Let's jump to John. John, how can I help you on Compute This? John, are you with me with your battery?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. What can I do for you?
Well, I got an old Dell laptop, Inspiration, about 4 years old.
Okay.
And I just keep it out in the garage to check my email and my web, searching.
Okay.
And a couple days ago, I keep it plugged in all the time to keep battery up. And I got it turned on, and my screen was just like half bright. And I thought, what in the hell? So I unplugged it from my battery charger, and it got a little brighter, but not very much.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, maybe the battery is corroded or something. And I took the battery out, and the screen went real bright, just normal, and everything's fine.
Gotcha.
So
All right. Well, thank you for the call, John. I apologize here for cutting you off. What you did is you cycled your computer. You power cycled it. You disconnected the AC adapter, and you took the battery out. Now, you never told me you plugged it back in, so if you took both of those things out and the computer was suddenly working again, you, my friend, are a person I need to talk to. I have a great business proposition for you. The whole wireless power thing is insane, all right? But no, you power cycled the computer and it all came back up. If it happens again, then we should look at the computer. It's probably not the battery. It's probably the computer. All right, thank you for your calls, everybody. Jim, I'm not going to be able to get to you today. If you got a flash drive with corrupt files on it, we can get that back for you in our data recovery lab. If you want to drop that off at one of our service centers, we can take a look at getting that recovered for you in the lab, or just getting the files off the drive without going to the lab. All right, need to draw a winner right quick, and stay tuned for the Aftershock coming up on Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Cecilia, congratulations, you're the winner, and we'll see you all again at 9:35 tomorrow on the Omaha Morning Blend, KMTV Channel 3. Thanks for listening to Compute This.
Happy holidays, Nebraska, from Superstation KFAB.
Omaha.
Special Counsel Controversy. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News.
I owe Facebook people like 20 minutes of time, apparently, because we were a little late going on. It was like a catastrophe of errors when I came in. All right, so my computer that I run all of the Facebook stuff on, when I shut it down at home before I came, I always shut it all the way down so I don't have issues when I get to the studio. And like an update that wants to fire. So it said there was an update and shutdown was an option. So I chose that, thinking it would update and shut down. So I get to the studio, open it up 10 minutes to go on the air to get it all set up, and boom, it decides all of a sudden it's going to finish its update, and it takes 20 minutes to do it. Well, that's great. Well, I guess I'll just have to get on the studio computer and at least post on Facebook. We'll be live later. Well, I get on the studio computer, and it won't remote into my computer at home. It won't do anything. It's running super slow. I can't even open a web browser. All right, well, I'm going to reboot this thing. I can't even get the start menu to open. So I go under the desk here, and I hit the button, the power button for it, and hold it down 5 seconds to manually power it down. And my computer on my left, you're right, my left, turns off. Oh, that one was working. Okay. So now we're literally almost to theme song time here. I have no control computer, so I don't have any idea who's calling in, when I'm supposed to go to break, anything like that. I've got no stories to talk about because my computer's down over here, and I've got no Facebook feed. And I'm like 4 minutes to go on the air, and my computer's like 33% done updating. Oh, boy. So I got them all fired up again, but it took me some time, so I apologize I'm late. So if you have any questions for me on the show today, now's your opportunity to ask them. You can just type them in on Facebook. It'll pop right up here, and I'll be able to answer those for you. All right, let's see. What do we got here? I missed your opening segment on net neutrality. If you have time, briefly touch upon that. All right. So, Elliot, basically, the whole thing about net neutrality is a big nothing burger, and it always has been. It's not about freedom of speech. It's not about a free and open internet that sponsors or fosters innovation. It is about money, and it's about money and control. So under the Obama net neutrality rules, the money and the control went to the Googles, the Facebooks, the Hulus of the world, because they get to stream their stuff over any available cable network, Wi-Fi network, whatever, however you connect to the internet. Nobody could
charge them to stream their stuff faster or slower or impede their access to the network in any way. Okay. Now, on the other hand, now that it's switched under Trump, now that power and that money goes back to the people who own the internet networks. The Comcast, the Cox of the world, who paid to put the fiber in the ground, get to have a say over what goes over their fiber. Now, when you think about it, if there was a second-class internet, for example, let's say Cox decided that it didn't like Google and it was going to block all of Google's products, people would flock to other internet service providers. Cox isn't going to do that. That would be stupid. Now, there is some pretext for things like that happening. For example, Amazon and Google are having a fight right now where Google is removing Amazon's stuff from their phones and Amazon's removing their stuff, Google stuff from the Fire TVs or something like that. They're having a little spat. And basically, in the end, the consumer is losing. And eventually, consumers will realize that and not really patronize either one of the products that we're screwing them over. In the meantime, though, what's happening now is if you stream Netflix and Hulu, right? And Netflix comes along and says, listen, we don't like it when our customers have to buffer, all right? And we know that some of our customers can't afford higher speed internet packages, but they watch our product, our programming. And so we don't want, we're charging them $8 a month for Netflix, and that's a burden for some of them. To have to spend more than $30 on internet is also a burden. They're not going to spend $50 or $60 or $70 on internet so they can stream our $8 product. So what if, regardless of what internet package your customer had, Netflix paid you guys a little bit extra, Comcast or Cox, to stream our content faster than the price your subscribers are paying to get it streamed to them? Well, sure, extra money is good for us, and so then Netflix will pay extra. Well, that'll upset Hulu, because now Netflix has a competitive advantage that they're paying for. And yeah, that doesn't seem fair, but that's business. That's the way the world goes around. So then Hulu has a choice. They can either lower their prices to compete with Netflix, or they can pay the extra and raise their prices to cover it to get their stuff to stream fast too. In the end of the day, the consumer is paying a lower price for faster television content than they would be paying if they were buying a whole faster internet connection that they don't need overall. When we broke up the big bells, so AT&T owned everything, right? And then they broke up AT&T and all the Ma Bells, all the local phone companies. When that happened, there was so much competition among the local phone companies. We got all kinds of new features like call waiting. Voicemail was new then. You had to have an answering machine before that. All these new features came around. Extra lines, everything else. It was all this competition to be the better service provider that generated better products for the consumer at lower prices. So you could argue it one way or the other. You could argue that under the Obama rules, free speech was guaranteed because everything had a free and open line to the internet. The end result was the consumer just had to pay a little bit more for that freedom, which is why we got one of the reasons why we got Cox data caps. On the other hand, you could argue under the Trump rules, new and innovative products and better series on these stations and faster streaming connections. And yeah, we're going to have to pay Netflix a couple dollars more a month for it, but for them paying Cox $190 billion a month for the super fast internet package. So especially when you don't need it for anything other than streaming a show here and there. I talk with my parents. Everyone's talking about this. My 60-something-year-old mom is like, Thor, we're thinking about dropping Cox and going to streaming. What's involved in that? And I'm like, what? Okay, well, let's have the conversation. Their biggest worry was they wouldn't be able to get MeTV and Gunsmoke. That's over the air, guys. No, it's not. They got rid of over the air TV. No, it's still there. You just need the right equipment to receive it. It's digital now. Oh, so I can still watch Gunsmoke and Bonanza? You don't need to stream anything to watch that stuff. Nope, we're good to go. But if you wanted to stream it, here's Amazon Prime. You can watch all the episodes of Bonanza for your Prime membership right here without paying anything extra. Oh, that's interesting. I can watch whatever I want. Yeah, look, Dad, you can watch The Punisher right here. All right, so that's net neutrality in a nutshell. It's nothing to get upset about. No one's going to steal anybody's freedom over this. If that happened, imagine the blowback that would happen. If all of a sudden, let's. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Let's go political. Let's say all of a sudden there was a political movement that was a grassroots movement that came out of nowhere and swept the nation and caused a sweeping election into office. Let's just say it was the new Communist Party, okay? And the new Communist Party of America has their ideas are resonating with millennials. Everybody likes their message. They're going to get all kinds of free stuff, and the wealthy people are going to pay for it all, and it's going to be amazing and free, and everybody's going to be happy, and everyone's going to go to college for free and everything else. And America votes them into office on a sweeping thing, and then all of a sudden the big companies, they realize they're going to lose a lot of money on this deal because they're going to have to pay for all these freebies, and they don't have enough money to do it. Nobody thinks about that. So they're going to have to take all their money, and then they still won't be able to pay for it, but they're going to take all my money. So, yeah, I'm Cox, and I'm going to shut down that political movement. Their YouTube channels just won't stream, just their channel. Everything else on YouTube will stream just fine. When you think about the logistics behind trying to do something like that, it's impossible to block that stuff. China has the Great Firewall, and they can't block that stuff. And people get killed in China for watching it, and they can't block that stuff. So the dystopian future that everyone was frantically trying to paint over this, it's all politics. It's all designed to drum people up, to get them upset at the current administration so they're more likely to vote Democrat in 2018 at the midterm. I know, I was talking to my wife the other day. And as I'm getting older, I look around and I see that regardless of what side you're on, you know, some of the politicians, it's about principles, one way or the other. Whatever your principles are, you have principles and you stand by them. But for the vast majority of them, it's not about principles. It's about power and control. And they will do or say anything to keep that. And like all the radio guys that I used to listen to on AM radio all the time, and now I hear them saying things that are complete, like, how can you make a moral argument here and then defend this Roy guy in Alabama over here? I mean, how do you like crucify Bill Clinton and then defend Roy Moore? I don't see that. Just don't say anything about Roy Moore. Fine. I mean, if you want to brush it under the rug, just don't talk about it. How do you defend that? I mean, come on. Yes, there are some people that were jumping on the bandwagon with the guy, but that doesn't change the fact that that's super creepy, man. Come on, you know? I don't know if I want that guy around as a politician deciding the future of, I don't know. So anyway, there's my political. Now I'm in trouble with half the audience already because of whatever. But bottom line is, why did they support Roy Moore? They supported him because they needed a vote in the Senate to get the president's agenda through. Because the president's agenda was deemed more important than the morality of an individual race. Isn't that what conservatives were so upset about during Clinton? Character mattered? I don't know. It's just disillusioning. It really is. I was talking to my wife, and I'm just like, at some point, I look at this and say, maybe the right move is to be the gray man in the middle. Just be invisible and just do your thing and live your life and earn your living and earn your retirement, raise your children, try to make them the best human beings you can make them, and then figure it out from there. I mean, good golly, try to have a Me Too conversation with your son right now. The hashtag Me Too movement. It's like, no, so son, you can never be alone in a room with a woman, ever, for any reason. If your employer asks you to be alone in the room with a woman, you have to either quit your job or just refuse to be alone in the room with a woman. Your employer will probably end up firing women because of that, because they can't hire all women. And if no men feel comfortable working with a woman, that's a problem. And then on the other hand, if you're a sexist pig that's making passes at women at work, what the hell is wrong with you? Didn't your mom do her job? Come on. All you guys are scumbags. I mean, it's just so disillusioning. You're like, this is real, right? Now we're seeing real. The internet and all the freedom we have on the internet is exposing all this garbage. And we're seeing what really has been there the whole time. And it just feels new that it's been there the whole time. All right. Technology doesn't always cooperate, does it? No, it doesn't. Speaking of spam, I use Outlook for my email. I mark the spam emails in my inbox, and then I don't open them. The senders see that I mark the emails as read. Yes, they can in some cases. I've always assumed that as long as the sender email is not sent a red receipt, they can't see if it's read or not. Great question. Preview pane. Outlook has a preview pane, and you'll notice it sometimes doesn't open the images in the preview pane to protect your information. The reason is when we send an email, for example, we know how many people open the email because we have an invisible, a 1x1 pixel. It's a clear dot. You can't see it because it's clear. and it's in the email, and it loads when the images load. And when we see that clear dot has loaded, that marks that individual email, that dot had its own code, and we can tell if that individual email sent to that individual address was actually read. It's how we measure readability of email, because if no one is reading our emails, why are we sending email? We're obviously not doing a good job communicating if no one reads our email. Or if I send one email structured a certain way, and the next time I send another email structured a different way, and one gets a higher open rate, I want to make sure I structure my emails. It's a way for us to communicate better and to measure our performance. So yes, they can see that you received and it previewed the email in some cases. The thing that, like I said, the thing to do is if you right-click on the email in Outlook, not Outlook.com, mind you, not the free Outlook, but in the paid version of Outlook that comes with Office, Home, and Business, or you can buy as a standalone product, right-click on the email and then go down to Rules and say Add a Rule. And in the subject line, you have to be careful not to add anything too generic. So like if it was, get 5 different formulations of Viagra from the online pharmacy today. Well, if you fill prescriptions online, you don't want to mark the word pharmacy as a negative. But Viagra, you could mark that as, if you're a woman and you're getting Viagra ads, you could mark that, as spam, and then say, always send this to my deleted item folder, process now. And it'll go through your whole inbox, and any Viagras in your inbox, it'll just send them to the deleted items. And then as your computer checks email and brings those down, it'll instantly send them to the deleted items. They don't even get previewed because they just immediately delete it. So that's what I do. It works pretty well for me. Kevin says, bought a computer to the Village Point for data transfer. Old computer had a problem. They still can't figure out the problem. Has it gotten to your eyes? Need some things off it for business. Kevin, I honestly have not been in the Omaha shop very much this week. I will be back in there on Monday, but I will ping my staff over there and let them know that you reached out to me on the show, which is universal for like panic mode for my employees. And I will make sure that it gets the attention that it needs if it hasn't gotten that already. Right now, we've had a lot of people coming in to buy computers, which pulls the guys out of the back and gets them up front selling computers, which is great. But then in the back, things don't always get done as quickly. So we're diverting our additional Papillion staff over to Omaha because I don't need to have so many people in Papillion because we're moving Papillion. So basically, eventually next week, the phone lines are going to get forwarded to Omaha as well. So basically, everything from Papillion will end up in the Omaha Service Center. When we get to the point where we have to cut the internet off, we can't work on computers there anymore. And the new Service Center doesn't have an occupancy permit yet. So we can't put it in there and have you come there for it. So we'll have to move them to the Omaha shop. So we'll make sure you get the attention you deserve there. And I'll make sure, Kevin, that they take a look at that computer for you. Okay. So my invisible hard drive from last week, I did get it to appear on the disk manager. However, when I try to initialize it, I get a cyclic redundancy check error. Okay, if you're trying to initialize it and it's getting a CRC error, that usually means the hard drive is failing. Now, Drive Advisor will tell you if drives are failing that are not initialized or that aren't formatted. So basically, if you have Drive Advisor installed, when you hook that drive up and you attempt to initialize it, you can refresh Drive Advisor and it will tell you the health of the drive. If it continues having the problems, Thomas, if you can swing that into the shop, I don't know if I can't remember if you're local or not, but if you just bring the drive in, that's the thing we can check for you while you wait, like 10 minutes, no charge. Just bring the actual hard drive in. We'll hook it up to one of our testing computers, run a quick check on it, and tell you if it's healthy or not. Thank you, Mark. See, I can just snap my finger, and a link appears on the screen. I love it. It probably doesn't look that way to you guys because of the delay, but to me, it looked that way. It was pretty neat. All right, voice is starting to go. So last call for questions. No one's asked me about Bitcoin hitting $19,000 or $20,000 yesterday. Again, Bitcoin, we watch the charts on video, boom, they just drop off. So if I'm going to end the show, I'm going to end it on Bitcoin because you're going to hang up on me anyway. But no, Bitcoin is going nuts now. Litecoin is up too, which is another one. Long story short, Thor's cryptocurrency investment tip of the week: buy Litecoin. Buy Litecoin at or around 300. Wait for it to dip. It'll dip. At or below 300. They're going to use Litecoin to speed the transaction speed of Bitcoin. Because right now it takes a ridiculously long amount of time for a Bitcoin transaction to process. So as a result, they're going to use, without getting complicated, they're going to use Litecoin to make that faster. That means people are going to need Litecoin. Buy Litecoin. I don't know where to sell it. I'm not going to call the top. You have to decide where the top is. I'll tell you where I think it's going to. Not at the bottom. The bottom. Sad story. We were mining Litecoin in the service centers in 2013, and we had like hundreds of Litecoin, and now it's like ridiculously expensive, like $300 a coin. Like, oh God, so sad. Anyway, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? So there we go. Okay, let's see. Sarah says, my old Norton subscriptions ran out. Your Village Point people insisted our endpoint protect or installed endpoint on my computer. Is that sufficient? All I will need. Oh gosh, yeah. Endpoint is like the gold standard. It's got the firewall. It's got the antivirus. It's got intrusion protection. If someone tries to gain access to your computer in an automated way, it blocks them. It's got all the new viruses now, obviously, are cryptocurrency mining viruses. They want to infect your computer and then use your power in your processor. Cryptocurrency stuff is so nuts right now, guys, that we literally explored the possibility of giving away free computers to people if we could install cryptocurrency mining on the computers. That's how crazy it's getting right now. That we could literally make enough money off of your power and your internet connection and your computer's idle processing time that you wouldn't have to pay for the computer and we would make a profit. In the end, it was just too logistically difficult because, people could turn off the mining software, especially the elderly. People wouldn't realize what they were signing on for. So then they got a free computer and they're happy about that. But then when their power bill goes up $10 a month, they're like, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for. That's an issue. So we decided it would be best not to do that. But it was an idea. It was one of the things. Do you know now that on some websites, especially if you have an ad blocker, in the website, you can install a JavaScript that uses your computer to mine for cryptocurrencies while you're on the website. Again, we thought about it. We're like, wow, we make all these free help videos that we put on SchrockInnovations.com. We don't get anything for making them aside from being labeled as an industry leader. What if we put some mining software on those pages so that while people were reading the tutorials, we at least got a little mining time in on the processor? It's generally frowned upon to steal from people, so you'd have to disclose it, which means there'd have to be a big disclosure. We're going to use your computer to mine, and it confused a lot of people. And then again, we just decided it's best not to mess with it. We're not going to do it. But it is an ad model. It's a revenue model for websites that don't want to put ads up. Would you be willing to pay a nickel in processing time or power, basically, to read the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal website without the paywall if they could use your computer to mine while you were reading? They're doing it. And well, they're not doing it, but Showtime was doing it because people go to Showtime.com to watch movies, and so you're watching the movie, and in the meantime, your computer's processor is mining in the background, and they kind of got in trouble for that because they didn't disclose it. They didn't tell people they were doing it. So in essence, they were stealing people's power because you were paying for the subscription, and then they were taking your power too. It's kind of weird. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Keith. You volunteer first. You always do volunteer, Keith. You're a champ like that. No, it's one of those things where you don't get to keep the cryptocurrency, Keith. We would keep it. That's how the computer gets to be free. And then the idea was we could get. It's stupid. It's the tiniest amount you get from a computer now. Keith was asking earlier, why can't you mine Bitcoin anymore with a computer? Number one, the computer is too slow. There are dedicated mining pieces of equipment. They're called ASICs, or they're computers, special pieces of machinery that are designed to mine Bitcoin that are so much faster than a computer, it makes your computer inconsequential. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you mine Bitcoin on your computer, you're going to get so few shares, you have to solve the problem. Let me translate. You got to solve the Bitcoin problem in a specific amount of time or less, or you lose the problem because somebody solved it before you. So if you try to mine it with a computer and you go up against my ASIC, well, I'm going to beat you every time. The odds of you actually solving a problem on your computer are astronomically large. It isn't going to happen. So yeah, you can't mine Bitcoin on your computer anymore. But there's another version of Bitcoin. It was called a fork. That if you're interested in mining on your computer, if you want to get in on mining, but you don't want to spend a bunch of money on an ASIC, you want to get a little cryptocurrency in case it goes to the moon and whatnot, there is a currency called Bitcoin Gold, BTG. Long run, it's going to go to zero. I think it's going to go to zero in the long run. Right now, it's about $250, $300 a coin, and you can mine it on your computer. Okay? So if you look into it, if you want to mess with it, we don't do mining for people at Schrock because when you start messing with mining and investments and stuff, we've had people ask us to build rigs and things like that. we'll put the hardware together. We'll recommend things for you. We'll build you the computer. But when it comes to like helping you actually mine, we don't do that because there's so many things there to learn. But if you want to mine Bitcoin Gold, you can look at BTG. There's a pool you can get at btgpool.pro is where I do it when I mine it. Let's see. So if quantum computers ever come to fruition, does that mean the Bitcoin mining industry comes apart at the seams? Actually, yes. Quantum computers would absolutely destroy cryptocurrency as we know it. The trick is, you ask why is it getting harder? Well, difficulty. The more people who mine cryptocurrency, the harder it gets to mine. So if one person dropped one quantum computer on Bitcoin, they would make a ton of money for a week. And then the difficulty would become astronomical. The problems would become so hard, in theory, the quantum computer would even have trouble doing it. Well, when that happened, everybody's equipment would stop working and everyone would be like, something's not right, and the price of Bitcoin would crash. So, yeah, I mean, a quantum computer could royally screw up Bitcoin. We don't have to worry about that just yet. But the theory goes that that's why forks are there. So if the quantum computers become a reality for people to mine with, they will fork Bitcoin to make it quantum computer resistant. I don't know how you do that. I honestly don't know how you do that. But because a quantum computer can consider all possibilities simultaneously and solve all problems instantaneously, theory. So, yeah, I guess the only way you do it is with another quantum computer. I don't know. So, anyway, now you can go watch the next series. When I'm done with Punisher, I'm going to start watching Stranger Things. I've heard good things about that series, but it's all this super science kind of stuff. Fun times. All right, so are they still asking for Bitcoin and ransom? Yes, actually, Brian, this is hilarious. They are. When you get infected with ransomware, they still want Bitcoin, but because the price of Bitcoin keeps jumping so astronomically, they don't know how much Bitcoin to ask for. Because if they ask for like 0.0, or let's just say they ask for 0.1 Bitcoin, well, as of right now, that's about $2,000. So 0.001 Bitcoin is 200. 0.00001 is 20. How much Bitcoin should we ask for? Because tomorrow it could be 3,000 or 5,000 or whatever. We don't know. So in true William Shatner form, now with our ransomware, you can name your own price. How much Bitcoin would you pay to get your stuff back? Just give us whatever Bitcoin you have. We'll take whatever scraps you have laying around because it's appreciating so fast. We really need your Bitcoin. We don't really care how much it is. Thanks and have a great day. I don't know. Do you like make an offer? Is it like eBay where you can make an offer and then they can like decline your offer, or do they counter offer? Is there a human like at Netflix that's managing the offers? I don't know. All right. Yep. Yeah, Thomas. See, and I've lost 5 viewers since I started talking about Bitcoin, so it's time to stop. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on the program today. Papillion Service Center is still open. I don't want to discourage you from using it. I do want to let you know, however, the turnaround times might be a little bit slower over there just because we are in the process of moving, which means we have to take everything out, and we're trying to do it seamlessly. So we take everything out and then instantly open the new location. Right now, of all the stupid things in Papillion, you cannot get an occupancy permit until your sign is moved. We purposefully scheduled the moving of the sign for the end of the month when everyone was done with Christmassy stuff. People who were coming to us would know where we were at. The sign could be moved and it wouldn't be a detriment. Well, guess what? You can't get your occupancy permit until your sign is moved, installed, and powered. So that means right now it's scheduled for the 29th. They're going to move our sign. Then I have to get the electrician to power it. Then I have to get a city inspector to come out and inspect it on the 29th. That weird space between Christmas and New Year's where everybody works a full week. Nobody takes off their paid vacation days that week. I'm sure I'll be able to get an inspector out. Yeah. Logistics, not my thing. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow on the Omaha Morning Blend, KMTV Channel 3. If you're not local to the Omaha area and you can't get that, we will post it here on Facebook for you after sometime Monday afternoon. Mark will get that taken care of. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. Have a great week.